Welcome, it's that time of the month already for a Christmas Stampathon 2020, and this time we are asking you to use up all those scraps. Welcome, this is Esther at Stampin Star Creations. Thank you for joining me. Do consider subscribing to my channel to catch all my videos. So I've pulled out some Christmassy themes and some reds and greens from my scrap box, lots of bits and pieces, and now to sort them out. So I decided that now that I've got the punch to match the trees, I'll cut out these tree shapes from a challenge that I did earlier in the year and just sort out some of my circles. I totally missed that Merry Christmas. Did you see it? Totally missed that one in there, but I've pulled some other shapes out to use on the cards and just trying to start compiling things together. So because I'm using Very Vanilla, which features in this designer series paper, and then I spotted this sentiment and just teaming together some reds and some Very Vanillas. So to add a bit of texture in the background, I'm inking up my wood grain embossing folder, and I'm going to run that through my machine, and it leaves this lovely inky embossing on the background paper. So going ahead and just sticking everything together and keeping with the themes of that reds and kind of like a rustic Christmas. I had these snowflake die cuts that I hadn't used up yet, so I'm just adding a bit of metallic to my card. And then just putting all that onto some real red cardstock. And that's card number 1 finished. Okay, for my next card, I wanted to use this happy sentiment, and I thought I could grab out a Christmas sentiment later, and just trying to grab in a few other elements to see how I can incorporate them onto the card. So using the For Unto Us, it had a Christmas word in there, so I'm just going to do some partial stamping and rubbing out the bit that I don't want with my chamois to make sure that I've got the word Christmas. And then I'm going to glue this down on a piece of real red, I think, or Poppy Parade, and just gluing these all together, making a little flower arrangement with those flowers and the sprigs, and then incorporating the other pieces onto strips on the card. So just centralising all these pieces and gluing them where I need them to go. And then not worrying about the fact they hang off the edge, because I can just trim them down in my mini trimmer. Then because it had a lot of colour on this, I wanted to neutralise it, so I decided to go with Very Vanilla. And there's the second card done. I felt that the flower was still missing just a little something, so I've added a lovely gold gilded gem just in the centre to help draw your eye in the middle. For the next card, I wanted to use these lovely colours. So I've got the Merry Merlot and Pretty Peacock with that plaid paper, and again I just wanted to keep building on mounting that up. Now it felt a bit kind of layer heavy at this point, and I wanted something just to kind of tone things down a bit, so I decided to bring on some vellum. And then I had the idea of running it through the wood grain embossing folder again for a bit of consistency and to go with the whole kind of wood feel and then more masculine tones. So when I ran it through, it did actually tear my vellum, but I thought because of the design of the embossing I would get away with it. Now I was distracted at this point. You do not need to glue the whole back of this, and I only needed to glue the middle to hide the glue and make it not show through, but yeah, one learns from their mistakes and I managed to just glue the whole lot because I was being distracted. But there you go, we're sticking this one down and just putting down the layers. I felt that it needed a sentiment on that plaid, so again using a sentiment from For Unto Us and cutting down a small bit to stick over the plaid piece. And there you have it, the next card. I was determined to use this poppy piece, so I've gone ahead and cut it out, and wanting to use these green flowers here as leaves. That the red glitter piece, I wasn't sure whether I was going to use it or not, but it comes and goes when I try and put this card together. So I was trying to decide how I could incorporate this scrap of plaid paper and wondered if I could use the design to... No, it just wasn't working. So I decided it's much easier and more usable if I cut it down into a strip. So folding it in half, and then just going to put a couple of flag tails at the end. So then these can be cut in half, and then it kind of extends those tails on either side. And so covering up just one whole petal and the centre to make these look more like leaves, I thought that worked quite well. I think I decided against the red glitter in the end. It just kind of took your eye off the centre. So adding in a bit of gold strip and then adding all that onto some red cardstock, onto some Poppy Parade, and realising that you can actually have this card two ways, either portrait or landscape. So to bulk out the card, I had this strip of, what colour is it? Shaded spruce, yep. And I trimmed it down so that I can use a piece on both sides, and I'm mounting this onto some Whisper White. So just laying down those strips and then adding the centre flower piece on dimensionals. And then onto, I wanted a neutral colour, so I've chosen crumb cake to mount the whole card on. And then when it was like this, I thought, the poppy looks as if it's upside down. So I did actually take it off and managed to turn it around, because then you can have the card in a landscape or portrait. And I was much happier with that. And it sticks. I only stuck to a bit of the dimensional. So that was my fourth card that I made, all using scraps. Thank you so much for watching along. I hope you enjoyed today's projects, and may I encourage you to get out those scraps and make some cards. I love the fact that you never quite know what you're going to get when you start, but you end up with some great projects that you would have never made before. Please do consider joining us over on Facebook, Christmas Stampathon 2020, and do subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. Thumbs up will be greatly appreciated, and do comment below. Thanks very much. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye for now.